Gerry Baker is with us from the Wall Street Journal this morning. It was shaking hands with everybody.
Good morning.
Do the Democrats, are they going to try to push him out?
No. I mean, they are stuck. You laid it out extremely well there at the top, Stuart. You put it extremely clearly. Biden isn't going to step aside. Senator John McCain famously said, the only known cure for presidential ambition is embalming fluid. Now, one of the things that should worry us right now is that we're going to get quite close to testing that proposition, I suspect, at some point in the next few years. Biden's not going to step aside. And then the Democrats, as you say, the mess involved in getting him out, whether the 25th Amendment or, it's too late already for a primary challenge, a real effective primary challenge, or somehow challenging at the convention when he'll have, 95% of the delegates. None of that is going to happen. They're stuck with him. And, as you said, as Bill McGurn, my colleague, pointed out today, nobody wants Kamala Harris. Nobody wants Kamala Harris. And I don't just mean, regular voters. I mean Democrats you talk to. They know that Kamala Harris has performed disastrously in the vice presidency, and they do not see any prospect of her winning a presidential election.
I was intrigued at your latest op-ed. You say Biden's claim that his memory is fine is another unforgettable denial of reality. My question is, look, does anybody believe that President Biden can serve for another 5 years?
Well, maybe President Biden does, but we know his mind is itself cognitively impaired, so that isn't exactly a recommendation. I'm amused, Stuart, by the performance of these Democrats in the last few days going on television and saying, Biden is incredibly sharp. He can bench press 250 pounds. He can recite, poetry and, the complete epistle of St. Paul to the Corinthians, in a few seconds, and he leaves me behind. He leaves me completely in the dust. Nobody believes that. And the more they make that absurd claim, these absurd claims that he's sharper than anyone, the more they are incredible, and the more I think the Democratic Party realizes how big its liability is. So, no, nobody. And yes, it is. This is the really worrying thing, as I say at the end of my column today, Stuart. It's not even that we're just talking about Biden running again in 9 months' time. We are talking about Biden knowing, and again, I don't want to be mean about the man. He's an 81-year-old man. I've got a very elderly father. We've all seen what happens when elderly people begin to lose their faculties. It's a sad thing, and it is a sad thing to watch. Are we really saying that this man is going to be able to continue to do the job of the presidency for the next 5 years? I don't think anybody believes that, Stuart.
It just doesn't make sense.
No.
Just doesn't make sense. Now, President Biden is not going to have a cognitive test. He'll do the regular physical, but not a cognitive test. I think perhaps he should, and we can't make him. But Trump boasted during his presidency about acing his cognitive exam. Watch this soundbite.
I took a physical and I passed with flying colors, and I took a cognitive exam. I said, doctor, give me anything you want. I want to take it. But I took a cognitive exam and I aced it.
He's entertaining, isn't he?
He is, and I'm not so sure what these cognitive tests involve. Right. Apparently it's like telling the difference between a giraffe and an elephant or something like that. I mean, whatever. The issue, though, is with Trump. Trump, as we know, is only 4 years younger than Joe Biden. Yep. He would be, after Joe Biden, the oldest president ever elected to the office. He already was when he was elected in 2016. First time that is. But the challenge, and he does make he makes gaffes too. We've seen him confuse Nancy Pelosi for Nikki Haley, or the other way around. The problem is, though, it just doesn't. Everybody sees Trump most of the time, and they know that he is. He projects confidence and self-confidence. You don't have to like him or like what he stands for, but he projects a sense that actually he is at least aware of what's going on around him. We watch Joe Biden, and you just can't get that same impression, unfortunately.
It's a Democrat dilemma of the first order, and I can't remember anything like this in politics in America ever before.
Never.
And in a long time. Gerry, thanks very much indeed, sir.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.